collaboration, bringing people with disabilities and people that don't have a disability together, enjoying life here in the Milwaukee area. We all have different abilities. And here at AbilityMKE Now, we dive into the topic of diverse abilities. The concept of disability has a wide range of possibilities. We can be talking about physical or mental disabilities, the deaf and hard of hearing community, blindness, chronic pain, mental health diagnosis, goals of substance use reduction, and the list goes on. We all have our own experience with disability, whether it's our own, with people we know, or people we encounter in our daily lives. Here at AbilityMKE Now, we break down the barriers and celebrate the ability in all of us. So this is another amazing evening here, actually, where I am right now. We are coming out of some travels, actually. And I gotta say, it is going to be feeling really good to be home again. We all need to recharge our batteries, don't we? Whether you have a disability or not. And I'm going to actually throw in there the whole idea of caretakers needing to remember to take care of themselves as well. I think that's a piece that gets missed a lot. I really think that is a very overlooked and underappreciated role out there. There are so many people that are spending so much of their time helping others that sometimes they lose track and forget that, you got to take care of yourself too. It's kind of like when you're in the airplane, they always say when, if those oxygen masks drop down, they always say, put yours on first and then help the person next to you. You got to take care of you, because if you can't be where and what you need to do, if you're not taking care of yourself, how do you have enough in you then to take care of others? That is actually a really big thing when you look at folks that have disabilities. There's a lot of the people in that disability community that absolutely rely on help from others. Now, obviously not everyone. There's a lot of people out there that have a disability that they're just fine to take care of all their things that they need all by themselves. But there's a whole lot of people out there that can't actually get through the day without help in some fashion or another. When you think about that, I mean, have you thought about that? The people you know, people you haven't met yet, I don't know. There's actually a very significant population that needs assistance all the time. That is actually also a field of employment that I think gets overlooked. Being a caretaker. There's actually just discovered somebody who's a family member that I haven't seen in a long time. That's what she does. That is her job these days, is being an assistant for somebody who has a physical disability and needs help. And I think that is amazing to know when you think of all the people out there that are actually in need of assistance. If there are that many people, that there's a big need for personal care attendants. That is something that is I would say a very undervalued profession. And quite frankly, I think from stories I've heard, that's the kind of profession too that should be earning a lot of money to take on that role. And I don't know that that's actually where things are at right now. That is definitely a place where improvement is needed, and there's a lot of, I think, government red tape in the midst of all that. They've got the regulations on what kind of expenses are approved or not. So think about that end of it. You are relying potentially on what the government says for how much you're able to pay a person who's actually somebody you need to rely on to take care of you day in and day out. I'm thinking that you want the best care you can get, all of your needs met, and the person that is taking care of those needs needs to be rewarded and recognized for that, right? I know in the past we've also talked about, temporarily able-bodied. I'm at a point in my life right now where I don't have to worry about that. I'm in a very lucky position. I'm blessed to be able to take care of myself, but that might not always be the case. That kind of thing can change in a day. Life happens, accidents happen, physical things happen. Who knows? I know of a gentleman that lives out in California that all of a sudden he did not know he had this incredibly rare disease, but he realized that what prolific. He can't move from the neck down for months. Can you imagine being in that kind of position? And then when you're in that position, you are 100% relying on other people to care for you and to care for your needs. How do you eat if you have no use of your hands and legs? What do you do? That is something I think people don't, unless there's a reason to think about it, why do we, right? So I want to go ahead and bring in, we have an awesome guest joining us here tonight. Christian is a wonderful friend of the show here, and I want to go ahead and, Christian, come on in and please remind everybody who you are, what you all do, and go ahead. I know you got a comment with this, so glad you're here.
Well, I think we've been telepathically sending the messages because we've done 2 weeks now. Yes, congratulations to Emily and the team because Emily and the EC Marketing Conversation for All join us this Friday at 2 p.m., which we'll be having another in the 3rd episode. But in regards to it, it ties in, and that's what I'm saying. It's telepathically, or just how we are aligned with one another. Where we talked about speaking, and we talked about really what is it that we're doing to support one another. What is it that we're doing to listen? Because you talked about right now, the caregiving aspect of it, and I've not only had my mother that was a caregiver at one point, but then she went into hospice, and so she had to have caregiving through her treatment. I see some of the population that is in caregiving.
There's a great need for caregivers out there, and being in that position is so valuable. Go ahead. Yeah.
Sometimes, I was also sometimes that's exactly what we do. We just need to be supported.
Yeah, just need to be supported. Absolutely. And as a caregiver, we need to remember to recharge our batteries too, right? Caregiver needs to take care of themselves along the way. So, Christian, I'm gonna ask you, what kind of things do you enjoy doing to get your battery charged when you need to?
I've been practicing a lot of meditation. I really have, and I've said this in a humoristic way because I have really have been able to be successful in regards to what we do as a full service business agency, helping business and business owners for the past 20 plus years. And so I've made a great successful entrepreneurship journey, but it's been when I'm quiet and when I'm listening that I've grown the most.
Oh, I love that. I think that really hits home with a lot of people right there. And I do want to take a moment here. Emily Golmer is in the house here as well. I want to make sure to bring her on in. If she could go ahead, Emily, come on in and introduce yourself. And I want you to answer that question as well, as far as what do you do to recharge your batteries? So, Emily, over to you.
Well, as far as
There you go.
as far as recharging, usually spending time with friends or like taking a walk outside or reading or playing some game or something like that, like getting away from whatever I was doing for a little bit.
Well, remind everybody who you are. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Oh, I am a virtual assistant, podcast assistant here in Wisconsin, and helping with a number of different projects, nonprofits, and so on. So, anybody's interested, and yeah, that's what I have to say at the moment.
Excellent. So, as I think about this past week or so, so one of the things that recharges my batteries is spending time with family. And in what we all like to do, we actually very active. We like to do things, physical activities, kind of recharges my battery. One thing most especially, actually, those that know us, water skiing. Obviously, with our adaptive water skiing and all the things that we do, when I go out with ski team, the world just melts away and disappears for a couple hours while we focus on what is going on and doing the best we can with what we're doing. And it is physical. It's something that we're moving. So it's more than just about something. It's actually thinking about it, planning it, doing it, and perfecting skills and growing in whatever way that we're trying to grow that particular evening. What skill are we working on? And that is something that really recharges me. Bruises and all, because if you hit a ski, it's worth it. Sometimes we go through bumps along the way, right? Literally and figuratively, there are bumps in the road that sometimes it's part of life. Stuff happens, and we need to be able to take care of ourselves enough to step back and say, yes, I need to recognize that now is a time for slowing down and figuring out what do I need to take care of me so that I can be the best me I can be. So I think, and Christian, what you were talking about there with meditation, that is something that I personally have not done a whole lot of. I'm kind of curious what got you started in that, and how do you go about that? Can you share a little more?
Yeah, absolutely. And being a technological person, you're gonna find it super funny. Is that I tried before doing meditation unsuccessfully until my wonderful partner and a better half, she actually got me a VR, the MetaQuest VR headset, and through the MetaQuest VR headset, I was able to actually, I guess, be immersed in a virtual world. And the app is called Maloka. I don't have any what's it called association, but I will say that it greatly helped me to find that little bit of a focus and being. I love the part of it, and it has many programs. So it gives you a bit of control and customization. And it starts you off with like maybe small increments of 15 minutes and then like 20 minutes and then 25 minutes. And then you can kind of move it away. And it's about over a year, more than a year. And I continue to just try to, and it's like they say, practice. And so it's the same thing. Is if I practice all of my life to get all anxiety, and this is how I react to things, and oh my gosh, this is what's going on, and this. So then I go, okay, now you're telling me that I can teach my body and rewire my body by being just slowing itself down, by understanding that these are momentary, by understanding that the thoughts in my head may not be exact truths or my thoughts. And so you talked about being more or being helpful and being present to yourself before you can help anybody else. And that's what we talked about this last week, which is we have to be able to speak for ourselves so that we can speak for others and helping ourselves before we can help others. And that has been an incredible journey that I'm realizing and making apparent. And so that recharges my batteries every day because I do that. But now I'm allowing myself to even do it throughout the day. And so then you start, well, at least me, and speaking of myself, is then you kind of start giving yourself that grace, that it's okay to take. And yes, I know you guys have wonderful time, family time, and outdoors, and that's another great way, to kind of do those things and another opportunity. So meditation doesn't have to be inside somewhere. It could be outside and things like that. So again, but that's what really helped me. That Maloka app, that VR. It's definitely it was said and everything else. But to me, that's what got me to sit down initially and to quiet myself down. Technology of all things, yes. So yeah, that's a big help.
That is awesome. I didn't even know that kind of thing actually existed. I've heard of virtual reality. I've done different random things in my life, but to think that is an option to be able to take on meditation like that is really cool. I did not know you could do that. Thank you for sharing this.
If Kurt pops in, Kurt, remember Maury from the neurological and the brain stuff that's going on? I know you do that, but just
Maury is up with it.
Kind of talking about that. Yeah, when he was kind of talking about that, and it's funny because if you start understanding some of the stuff that is going on and that's coming out, it's what they say that our brains actually can't comprehend what is real and what is fake in our mind. And so having a VR type of experience when you're really in it can make it seem so realistic and so impactful that you're actually feeling like it's happening. And so I can say yes. I can say yes.
Even that piece of it, we listen to. Go in. Is it good stuff, or what are we choosing? Because there are so many different things. Like if you go on YouTube or if you go to watch a movie, what are you choosing to watch? Is it something that's going to lift you up? Is it something that's getting you excited? Is it something, what is it? Different things that spark our interest, right? I personally there's a lot of horror films out there. I do not like horror films. I stay away from all that because it is just not my thing. I don't get it. Honestly, I hate them. I don't like that kind of stuff. I don't like being scared. But there are people that really is something that works for them. So we're all different. We all have different things that get us going, right? And figuring out what it is that excites you and makes you hum, right? That's actually a really important thing to figure out. And there are people out there that they maybe haven't found what that is yet, right? I think a lot of people, especially I think about, it's almost like career choice too. What do I want to do with my life? It takes actually something like meditation is a great thing to do to slow down and really figure things out. I think slowing down and spending time thinking about where do my thoughts go? What do I enjoy? What do I know I don't enjoy? What kinds of things are important to me? Those are things that steer a person, right? We're all different. Yeah. We all come from different places. We all have different things that we enjoy doing. but we all have gifts. We all have so many amazing things that we're able to do. What are we going to do with them? And have we all figured out what they all are yet? It takes figuring things out, right? So being a supportive friend, being a supportive person for others. Oh, so Emily, what are your thoughts on all that?
That's very. Yeah, it's very interesting. It's a very, very important topic. So,
so what things get you going? How have you figured out what you enjoy? What is it that led you down the path that where you are now?
Well, just sort of being interested in the whole office type, doing office kinds of things, and then have been listening to podcasts and stuff before, and because never really had the right opportunity or ever really done anything until a few years ago. I met Anna Maria, and the whole situation presented itself. So, but yeah.
Excellent. So, I just thought of a question. Just left again. Go ahead, Christian.
If I may, I think as you kind of said, what we ingest, we're going to output. How we digest, what we take in, is also part of it. As you said, there are things that build us, and food. I will tell you, I was, and I've mentioned this, culturally, there are certain groups of people that the bigger you are, the higher status that you have on the island. And so the bigger you are, the more you have, the more wealth, And so unfortunately, there's a lot of drawbacks when we don't take care of our bodies and we just start, digesting. And the reason I bring this to the table, is because I suffered and I went through an eating and kind of being healthy and kind of like fueling my body type of thing. And so then I got away from taking care of myself. But going back to that is that it's just as important what you do to burn out that energy as well as what you're putting in. And that's why when you were saying about, well, if you like horror films, I mean, not that you do, but those that do, if they sit there and all they watch is horror films and all they do is just on, thrillers and horror and things like that, then you kind of start, you got to pick apart what is your thoughts, what is your imagination, what is real, what is not. Because again, you start same thing with meditation, same thing with positive. You start kind of, getting into interwovenness and familiarity and things like the life and things like that. But if we don't have an output as well, whether it's creative writing, whether it's walking, whether it's time for yourself, that also can be hindered because then you're kind of thinking about whatever, whether it's work, whether it's school, whether it's your personal appearance, focusing too much on what we're again and saying about like there's things on YouTube. Everywhere you look to and everything is a distraction. And I'll just finish it this way. If we don't focus on what we want and what we like, then it's so easy to get distracted. And I saw this little Instagram post where he had this child walking into his room. And now I am against number one, children in videos on social media and personas. I dislike that because I feel like children are not something to pawn or play or to incorporate in anybody's marketing or branding message. That's just completely. But the impact that this was, and then I saw it with an adult. So I'll just go with the adult story. And he walks into the room and he goes, aha, I found who's been stopping me and keeping me from reaching my potential. Today and he's got a tie on and he's in the suit and in his briefcase. He goes, no more. I have now found out. And he opens up the door and it's himself on the couch with a soda and chips in front of that TV, slouch back, just kind of video games and flipping through. It was just a fact that there's so many things that we can do with our idle time. And there's a book that says that idle hands are the devil's playground. Anybody hasn't read that book? That's a good one to pick up. I hear they sell it all over the place, but we'll leave that one on to the next episode. But it talks about idle, and so I go back to this whole thing about taking care of what we absorb, what we surround ourselves. And I smile at Emily's opportunity that she was given and how she said it, because another well-known speaker said, "You better be prepared than it's better to be prepared than lucky, because once you're prepared and there's a chance that comes by, you're going to jump on it. You're going to have the skill set. You're going to be prepared. Now, if you don't have any preparation, you don't have any skill set, and you happen to get a chance, and then you go and blow it, there's your chance. That's what you have." So preparation in regards to, you said, hurting yourself, taking care of yourself, speaking up for yourself, and continue to do it and allowing yourself to have grace to make mistakes. Well, that one was one that Christine Berna from Helpopedia. I know I'm plugging everybody here today. Helpopedia.org, guys. Make sure you guys sign up and support all of our channels and all the other ones. But Christine told me, snap, tap, zap. And so this is a new thing that I'm working on to replace my old habits. When I'm catching them, snap. And then I start giving myself, allowing myself permission to, okay, let's realize what that was and where that mistake happened. And I dropped the ball a lot, and I know I bothered Kurt and Emily and send me the links and send me this and add me to the calendar, and because I'm allowing myself to be vulnerable with these wonderful people, because I want them to be as vulnerable, and they've been so supportive. So again, I'm so grateful to Emily, you to Kurt, as well as Celine, Mark, obviously, Alan, and everybody else that does these things and is supporting, because it truly makes a difference, and it speaks volumes as how things can quickly happen and things are evolving if we truly just have a good mission and heart and are willing to put in some work.
I love that. That is such a good message here. And having a support system, having people you can count on, that you see on a daily basis or a regular basis, to be able to have those voices in your mind be positive voices. Who do we listen to the most? Who do we hear the most? Ourselves. There's that conversation going on in our minds all the time. What are we telling ourselves? Are we telling ourselves good things? Are we beating ourselves up? What are we doing? And like you said with that Instagram post that you saw, am I looking at myself as somebody who is putting myself in my place to be successful, or am I putting myself in a place where I am not going to be successful? So, all choices we need to make. We are all here together on AbilityMKE Now because we care, because we want to do the good things out there. So again, for all that you guys give here, we thank you.
Whoa!